So what are user interfaces and how are they different from user experience design? User interfaces are nothing but actual interfaces that users use. So it's like where user gets to interact with a machine, while UX takes care of how it would look. UI is what it brings to life. It focuses on quality and aesthetics, functionality. UI has input devices like keyboards and output devices where you display what is the outcome of a particular action. MIT introduced graphical user interfaces in 1963. From then on, we saw the real advancements in UI. Let's see what are the major differences between UX and UI. One is UX is all about covering the entire project from ideation to delivery, while UI begins after the designs are ready and you start with prototyping. UX is centered around functionality, while UI is more about the quality, how it looks, how it feels, the actual interfaces. UX is more conceptual, and UI is what we can actually feel, hear, see, the real part of it. User interfaces comprise of visual elements that are used for interacting with the users. For example, input options like buttons, menus. We click them, we check them. These are the actions we can perform. Navigation controls like search bars or tabs. We can click the tabs, we can enter in the search and search for something. Information components like alerts and banners. The moment we are on a website, we do an action, let's say we commit an error, then there is an alert coming out. Or if there is a battery drainage, let's say on your computer, a pop-up comes out. Or the banners like ad banners. These are all the examples of information components. So we have inputs, we have navigation, we have information. These three kinds of visual elements that we see in UI. UI design elements are focused on the way we use words, images, spaces, time, and also how the user behaves. So every element or component will have a specific behavior based on which we provide users facility to do things or perform tasks. Interface types could be tactile, it could be menu based or haptic. That means you can use your touch gestures for performing actions, or they could be form based. There is a form and you start typing, filling, or it could be voice based like Alexa. User interface elements simply allow you to do certain tasks. These are three input examples of input, navigation, and information components like buttons, menu, data fields, checkboxes. These are input controls, search bars, sliders, tags, icons that you click, or accordions that you open up. All these are navigation controls. They allow you to move from one place to another. Information components, they give you some kind of information like carousels where you see pictures, charts where you see the progress, notifications where you find out what's happening, like that. Now, there are different stages in which we design user interfaces. It always starts with sketching, where you have an idea on paper or screen. If you're in case you're using a software system, you create a basic layout, you identify the features and plot them. Once you have your sketch is ready and you have finalized it, you create a wireframe. Usually wireframes are digital representation of your sketches. They are more colorful and more realistic, and they give you the UI elements. For example, you could present the navigation menu there, you could have buttons pasted there, and you can have content areas highlighted. Once you have the wireframe realized, then you create a visualization of that. Sometimes It's like you go to the prototype stage, or in the wireframe itself, you wireframes can be, colorless, where you're just highlighting the areas, or they could be colorful. You are presenting the full color scheme. You're also presenting the typography, what are the fonts, images that you're using. All that can be put in the wireframe. Once your wireframe is finalized, then you do slicing. That means you break down the visual elements into specific assets so that you can save them for reuse. Like images, you can have a set of images, you can have a set of icons. So usually create a set of icons you always use whenever you are creating anything for your same brand. You will use similar icons, or you could have content formats. They are all stacked for you. Effective UI design requires you to basically meet your user needs so that you can make them satisfied and you can retain them. A good UI is very simple. It follows consistency in elements and is efficient in performing tasks. It places important information in areas which is very prominent, and they make the information readable and engaging. Color combinations are not very gaudy, but they are very harmonious depending on what kind of app you're using. You can use variations. Like on food apps, you usually use colors like red or orange, but if you're using let's say meditation app, you will use subtle colors. Pre-chosen feels like let's say a Dropbox. You already have a default section placed there. Most of the users will be using that default value, so you have that default value already entered. Then if there is a person who needs to change that, then change can happen. But these pre-chosen fields are very helpful, and they make things fast and streamline interactions with your users. Thank you very much for listening to us.